The CBS 12 News at noon starts now with breaking news.
I have no idea what's going to happen right now. I do know one thing. There's going to be one side who's going to be brokenhearted.
We find a defendant guilty of manslaughter while armed with a firearm. We found a defendant guilty of attempted first-degree murder.
We knew it in our hearts that he was guilty. Our family is happy, but sad at the same time because we don't have Corey here with us.
When you're doing a lot of bad, sooner or later it's going to catch up with you.
I'm thankful to the jury. I'm thankful to God.
Today, we have justice.
Breaking as we come on the air this noon, justice for Corey Jones.
After over just 4 hours of deliberation, the jury finding Nouman Raja guilty. Raja, who was escorted from the courtroom in handcuffs just moments after the jury found him guilty of manslaughter while armed with a firearm and attempted first-degree murder in Jones' death.
CBS 12 is the one to turn to for live team coverage, from the emotional reactions from Corey's family members to the memorial growing in Jones's honor across South Florida.
And what's next for the former cop now convicted in murder? We begin with CBS 12's Thomas Forster, who got an exclusive interview with Corey's brother, C.J. Jones.
I'm with C.J. Jones, the brother of Corey Jones. C.J., is this a sense of closure for you with this verdict?
Yeah, it's a sense of closure. It's definitely a sweet and bitter taste in my mouth. You know, I'm so happy and overwhelmed with the decision. You know what I mean, from the jurors, and we knew Corey wouldn't do anything to any police officer or anybody that's over any guy that has authority over us. We were just waiting for the system to give us what we knew, and it definitely worked.
I know the system, the wheels of justice certainly turned. It's been over 3 years and 5 months roughly since the shooting death of your brother Corey. How is your family doing, and how difficult was this watching and reliving that night?
Well, it was very difficult because coming to the case, to the trial, we've seen a lot more information and a lot more photos and stuff that we haven't seen. You know, the state was holding back on, you know, for evidence. To get a lot of that stuff this week, it was definitely overwhelming. And it was good for me to get over. I needed to see my brother there. I needed to see exactly for what he was saying that he did, and I need to see that for me to have some peace. So I seen that, and I'll be able to grieve over it and get over what I saw.
One last question before I let you go back to your family. Do you feel the wheels of justice have come full circle and got you your day in court, and what has happened?
I think that, you know, they gave us what we wanted. I think justice has definitely been served, and we're just here to keep the beat alive, man. Justice for Corey.
Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thank you. Okay. So there you have it, Matt and Ashley. C.J. Jones feeling obviously very emotional. His entire family feels that there's a weight off their shoulders, finally getting their day in court, finally getting what they've been searching for over 3 years and 5 months. Justice and the way it has turned. Guys?
A bond was revoked for Raja, so he will remain behind bars. Now, CBS 12's Kara Duffy live at the courthouse with a reaction from Corey Jones' attorneys. And Kara, what is next now for Nouman Raja?
Well, Matt, the Chief Assistant Attorney General put it simply. She said the guilty verdict left her speechless. She said that she so badly wanted the jury to get it right for Corey Jones, and that she believes they did. Now, take a look. This here is video from just moments after the verdict was read. It's outside the courtroom where people gathered shortly after the verdict came down. Attorneys seen embracing members of Corey's family and friends, and every few moments you would hear a cheer erupt from that crowd. Prosecutors also took time to express their thanks to the jury. Take a listen.
And I'm grateful to them. I'm so grateful to them that they took their time. And they were attentive the entire time. They were a smart group. and they were fair. And so I'm really just speechless and just really, when I say I'm speechless, it's because I'm just overwhelmed with just gratitude.
Now, as for what's next for Nouman Raja, again, jurors found him guilty of manslaughter and attempted first-degree murder. Sentencing is set for April 26. Raja faces anywhere between 25 to life in prison. Reporting live from the Palm Beach County Courthouse in downtown West Palm Beach, I'm Kara Duffy, CBS 12 News.
All right, thanks, Karen. Something we kept hearing from the judge over and over again. There are no winners in this case. State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg echoed that outside the courthouse.
Ultimately, there are no winners here today. Nothing can bring Corey Jones back. Nothing can reverse the tragedy that happened 3.5 years ago. But hopefully today can provide a measure of justice and closure to the Banks and Jones families and to our entire community.
Meanwhile, the city of Palm Beach Gardens issued this statement. Our hearts go out to all of those who have and will continue to deal with the damaging effects of this tragic death of Corey Jones. This tragedy has impacted everyone from the families to our local community and beyond. We hope this verdict will allow all of those involved to begin the process of healing.
It was a long process, but we endured. And today, we have justice.
And that was Corey Jones' father just minutes after that guilty verdict was read. Right now, a memorial for Corey Jones still lies at the very spot where he died. We want to head to Palm Beach Gardens now. CBS 12's James Torres continues our live team coverage there in Palm Beach Gardens. James?
Yeah, Ash, well, right now we're standing on the off-ramp here, exiting onto the PGA Boulevard off of I-95. This is where investigators say Nouman Raja shot and killed Corey Jones. On the other side of the guardrail, you see this memorial, very hard to miss if you're driving by. And normally we'd come up and show you, give you a pretty close look of what everything looks like here. But as people are coming in and out, seeing the memorial for themselves, we decided just to take a couple steps back and let them reflect on the big news that dropped this morning. I do want to point your attention to a small bouquet of flowers. A man left these here just about 2 hours ago. He tells me that he's never met Jones, but he came here all the way from Boynton Beach just to pay those respects and then drove all the way back to Boynton to get to work.
This one, just being so close to home, kind of struck a nerve a little bit because, you know, I've been out here before. I've been to Palm Beach Gardens. I have friends out here, you know.
Again, this memorial just hard to miss if you're driving by. And if you remember, the first memorial that people put out here for Jones caught fire. Police say that it probably came from a candle that was left lit. No malicious activity expected there. Now they have some small lights. You can see that surrounding the memorial, a couple smaller ones that surround where they actually spell out Corey Jones's name as well. Right now, we're working to find out if there are any planned demonstrations to happen here at the memorial site. We'll let you know as soon as we find out. For now, reporting live in Palm Beach Gardens, I'm James Torres, CBS 12 News.
Thanks, James. An emotional end for the family of Corey Jones. His brother CJ had this message for other law enforcement officers.
To all the officers out there that's doing bad and doing stuff behind closed doors that you know you're supposed to be doing, your day is coming, man. So you might as well do good.
Moments after the verdict was read, along with the memorials for Corey Jones, this one popped up for Nouman Raja. Several held hands in a circle and prayed for Raja and his family.
We do some breaking news to bring you right now out of Rockford, Illinois, after reports came in of an active shooter. We just got an update about this moments ago. Police believe there is no longer a threat in this area. This new video we're seeing, you can see there's a big law enforcement presence. But again, police do not believe there's a threat in this area any longer. They are not recommending any lockdowns. This all stems from a task force serving a warrant, they tell us, on a man named Floyd Brown of Springfield at a motel. We do know shots were fired. One officer was hit. The condition of that officer unknown at this point. Police are right now looking for Brown. They believe he could be armed with a rifle. But again, reports of an active shooter. The threat of that active shooter appears to be over. We'll keep following this. Look for updates on CBS12.com.
Next, our coverage of the justice for Corey Jones continues. In minutes, we'll talk to a well-respected defense attorney about how the jury could have reached this guilty verdict so quickly.
Also, breaking news right now, developments in the human and sex trafficking crackdown here in South Florida. What is next for New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft?
Way FM, proud partner of the CBS 12 News Network, the one to turn to. You're watching CBS 12 News, the one to turn to. Live with Ashley Glass, Matt Lincoln, and Storm Track Weather with meteorologist Lauren Oleski. CBS 12 News continues.
Eyes from all over the country on Palm Beach County in this high-profile case against Newman Raja in the murder of local church drummer Corey Jones. Reaction pouring on in. Let's take a look at some of it on social media. One person here saying the case where a member of law enforcement falsely used Stand Your Ground, who has been found guilty in the assassination of Corey Jones, justice has been rendered. Tasty says, we got justice for Corey Jones. Justin says, justice delayed doesn't always mean justice denied. So many people saying this noon, finally justice, with the hashtag Corey Jones. Again, there is a memorial right now on PGA Boulevard, right at the exit of 95. We are going to take a look at the other side of this break, where expert insight from a well-known defense attorney after the guilty verdict in the Newman Raja trial was reached.
And it's a pretty nice afternoon out there for us. Temperatures right now are in the low 70s, still cool, but we are on a warming trend through the weekend. High pressure is going to start making its way off to our east, bringing in warmer temperatures. I'll let you know how much warmer we'll be this weekend coming up after the break.
Here's a look at our SkyTeam 12 drone shot of the day. This video is from Stuart.
We, the jury, find as follows. As to count one, we find a defendant guilty of manslaughter while armed with a firearm as charged in the information. As to count two, we found a defendant guilty of attempted first-degree murder as charged in the information. If you find a defendant guilty of attempted first-degree murder, you must next answer the following questions. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant actually possessed a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant actually discharged a firearm? Yes. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant...
The judge there handing down the guilty verdict in the Newman Raja trial just as it was coming down. We're joined now by a well-known defense attorney here in town, Patrick McCamey. And Patrick, you also worked with the state attorney's office for a number of years, so you really have perspective on both sides of this. What stands out to you the most about this case and this verdict?
Well, I think as far as the case goes, what stands out the most is the fact that it's highly unusual to have a recording of an actual shooting, which is what we had in this case, for the jury to consider. And that makes it unusual because it's captured in real time. Often in these types of cases where there's a shooting, it's really the officer's account and nothing more. And it's very difficult to dispute the manner in which the officer describes the shooting unless there's a body cam. So that's what stands out as making it very unique. And the other thing that makes it stands out is the public perception, I think, that a lot of shootings are unjustified throughout the country. And I think there's a perception that this man was shot in cold blood and that the officer needed to be held accountable, and clearly he was.
It certainly didn't help Raja's case that what he said happened during the shooting wasn't showing up in the recording. He said he identified himself and there was nothing in the audio recording. You couldn't hear him identifying himself.
Correct. I think that was probably the most damning piece of evidence, the fact that the audio recording clearly showed he didn't identify himself, that the initial encounter did not occur in the manner in which he described it. So clearly the jury felt he lied and that he was completely unjustified in shooting himself, that he never represented himself as an officer as he should have done in the initial encounter. So I think it was just a flat-out rejection of his account during the walkthrough as he described the shooting and how it unfolded. I think the jury felt he was absolutely lying.
They deliberated for 4 hours yesterday, but then only 45 minutes this morning. What can you read from the fact that they came to a verdict so quickly?
They didn't base their testimony on the expert testimony. They based it on what Raja said and the recording of the actual shooting itself. And I think they relatively had their minds made up when they went back and started deliberating, because it is a short verdict. They could have taken, in murder cases, sometimes you'll get jurors out for 2, 3, 4, 5 days to deliberate before they can actually reach a verdict, and they go through each piece of evidence. In this case, I think it was his own words that doomed him, coupled with the phone recording.
Patrick McCamey, thank you for that insight. We appreciate it. Our coverage of this, high-profile trial, this verdict just coming down today, does not stop here. On CBS 12, we've posted the full interviews with Corey Jones' father and brother, along with prosecutors and defense attorneys. We are hearing from all of them. You need to check it out right now on CBS12.com. Also breaking this noon, we have just learned New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft will be required to appear for his arraignment in Palm Beach County. Kraft has already entered a not guilty plea on 2 misdemeanor charges of solicitation to commit prostitution. He was among dozens of men busted in a takedown at the Orchids of Day Asia Spa in Jupiter. Kraft's arraignment is scheduled for March 28th.
Tonight on CBS 12 at 8 o'clock, it's Big Bang Theory, followed by Young Sheldon, then Mom, Fam at 9:30. SWAT at 10, and then end your evening with CBS 12 News at 11 with Liz Carantes and Jim Grimes, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and The Late Late Show with James Corden.
We want to thank you for joining us here at noon. We want to leave you with pictures from the courthouse, too. It's been a big day where several are leaving messages in remembrance of Corey Jones.
And remember, the news is always on CBS12.com. We'll see you at 3.